Hey, GX community, this is GX Bob here to showcase to you guys another modification I am going to be doing. A lot of you guys have asked me to install fog lights right here where the factory OEM slot is, and I have yet to do that, but I wanted to knock out two birds with one stone today. If you're probably wondering why I have my turn signals on, I just wanted to make a count with you guys how many turn signals we currently have right now. We have our normal turn signals in our bumper. I have my switchback turn signals in my projector headlamps, and I have turn signals in my side mirrors, which are considered side markers. I believe this is way too many turn signals for a vehicle to have in the front. So what we're going to do is we are going to shut this down as a turn signal, and we are going to convert this into fog lights. So instead of installing fog lights right here, I am going to just have one set of fog lights on each side, and they are going to be right here. These are the set of lights I'm going to be using as fog lights. I've chosen for the turn signal type, it will be 7440 right here. And you could choose white or amber. You could use amber as fog lights, or you could use white as fog lights. I decided to turn those amber turn signals into white lights instead. So let's go ahead and open up the package. Here it is. Look at these LED lights from Auxbeam. Wow. And this is very important right here. You got a projector lens right in front of these LED chips right here. This is the reason why these would perform as really good fog lights. I'm going to show you their performance at night towards the end of the video. So I went ahead and dropped the bumper just so I could show you guys exactly what I'm doing. It's more visible this way. You guys don't have to drop the bumper if you don't want to. You can actually crawl underneath your truck and do all the work yourself. It's pretty wide out in the open where the plugs are and everything. But just for the video, I'm going to drop the bumper and show you guys exactly what I'm doing and where I'm going to be doing it. On the driver's corner, you're going to have this huge black plug right here that's connected to your bumper black plug right here. So I disconnected this before I even worked on the vehicle. You can go ahead and disconnect the negative terminal off your battery also, since we are working on the electrical component. This is what it looks like behind your turn signals. It's going to have an OEM plug right here. All you have to do is turn it counterclockwise, take it out, go ahead and remove your OEM bulbs. Put in your Auxbeam light bulb, snap it into place, go ahead and put it back into its socket and turn it clockwise to lock it into place. Now we are on our passenger side. You're going to want to do the same thing. Turn it counterclockwise, remove the factory bulb, go ahead and put in the Auxbeam light bulb, snap it into place, put it back in its socket and turn it clockwise to lock it into place. We are going to unplug it by pushing on this tab and removing the plug, the factory plug. And if you bought the 2020 headlamp styles that I did for that modification, it's going to come with the Y splitter. You're going to take the Y splitter and you're going to add it to your factory OEM plug, and this portion right here is going to go to your headlamps. You got a gray plug and you got a black plug. Let me show you. Factory, it's got a gray plug and a black plug. That's where it's going to go. Same thing on the driver's side. Go ahead and push on the tab to release it. Factory OEM plug. We are going to take the headlamp Y splitter. We're going to attach it, and we're just going to leave it dangling because this is going to go back to the 2020 headlamps. Okay, we're not going to touch this anymore until we put back the bumper. We are going to be working with this right now because this is going to be working independently from your vehicle's turn signals and electrical system. It's going to be onto your Auxbeam control switch. Now we're going to be connecting some wires to these two male spades in here, a positive and a negative. Let me show you closer what they look like. If you take a look inside, there's male spades. Okay, so in order to hook up to these male spades, you're going to need the wires to connect to these somehow, and that is where female connectors come in. Once we attach these to the wires, the females will connect to the males and they plug right in just like that. And you're going to have one for a positive and one for a negative, just like that. One goes into each. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to grab a roll of speaker wires. I use 12 to 14 gauge wires, and these wires are different colors. You see them? There's two wires attached to each other, so I could use one for positive and one for ground. It doesn't matter which color you choose, but I normally typically like to choose the one that's more red in color as power. So I'm going to take off about 3/4 of an inch of the shielding on each one. I'm going to wind it up. I'm going to grab one of my female connectors. I'm going to slide it right through, all the way through. I'm going to crimp it very tight. Smash it down. I'm going to go to the next, and I'm going to smash it down some more to make a tight connection. I'm going to do the same for the positive lead. After I'm done crimping both my positive and the negative, I'm going to grab a roll of black electrical tape, and I'm going to secure it some more by wrapping it around my connection, just so they don't come loose one day. Just like that. I'm going to do it to the other side right here. There you go. You got a positive and negative. Now let's go ahead and plug these into the light socket. Here you go. This is the rear of my passenger side light socket for my fog lights. It doesn't matter which side you put it on, positive or ground. If it doesn't work, we can always flip them around. Doesn't matter. So let's go ahead and take one of the females and connect it to one of the males inside the lights here. Now we're going to take the other side. We're going to connect it to the male spade with our female connector. Very nice tight fit there, very tight. Now we're going to take this wire and we're going to run it to our Auxbeam fuse panel. So let's go ahead and run this wire. Let's keep going. Let's go across. Let's go all the way up to the engine compartment, past the driver's side light, and here is the Auxbeam fuse panel. This is how much wire we're going to need to run. I would grab my roll of speaker wires and I would make a rough estimate of how much wire I'm going to need to run to the fuse panel. Give yourself a lot of slack because you're going to be running through a lot of crevices here. Once you've got yourself a good idea of how much wire you're going to need, go ahead and make the cut. And now you're going to do the same for the driver's side fog light. Here we did the same for the driver's side fog light. Now we're going to also run this to the Auxbeam fuse panel. Now that I plugged in my passenger side fog lights with the speaker wires, I'm going to run it along the turn signal OEM wire harness, and I'm going to take zip ties and zip tie it along with this harness. I've taken my passenger side wires and I'm running it to meet up with my driver's side wires, and I'm going to zip tie them together. So now they are a pair. I like to keep it very organized. Keep all the wire running together. I ran it all the way up, and it goes through the large opening underneath my headlamps. There's plenty of space to run your wires up there. Now that you have routed your wires underneath your headlamps all the way up here in front of your battery, you're going to take the wires, you're going to route them on the side of your battery underneath your OEM fuse bracket. And let me show you what it looks like. To the side of your battery, underneath your negative terminal cable, underneath your OEM fuse box bracket, Goes out here. Now we have plenty of slack to connect it to your Auxbeam fuse panel. Let's go ahead and remove the Auxbeam fuse panel cover. We're going to use one of these channels as our switches to turn on both fog lights. We're going to tie these fog lights together because we only want one switch to turn on both the left and the right. We do not want them separate. So let's go ahead and choose the 10 amp, this channel right here for positive and negative. We're going to grab a small Phillips screwdriver and we're going to go ahead and loosen up the 10 amp positive and the 10 amp negative. Loosen up enough so we can stick our wires inside these little channel holes. You're going to take both pairs of fog light wires, you're going to split them up just like this so you can connect both grounds together and you're going to connect both positives together. Okay, so let's go ahead and route these underneath the slit right here just so we can put our cover on without it crimping onto our wires. Let's go ahead and put it underneath through this little channel right here. Put all your wires through this little channel. Once it goes through the little channel, we can go ahead and do our next step, which is pairing them up. Let's go ground to ground, connect the two grounds together by winding them up. Once you wiring them up, you're going to stick it inside the negative terminal of your 10 amp. You're going to take your screwdriver, you're going to go ahead and lock it into place. It's going to look just like this. Both grounds is going to go inside the negative side of this 10 amp, and then you're going to wind these two positives and you're going to stick it inside the positive terminal right here, and then use a screwdriver to tighten this side down. So let's go ahead and do that. There you go. Now we have positive from your left and positive from your right fog light. We have ground from your left and ground from your right fog light going to these terminals for your 10 amp fuse. Now we're going to count to find out which switch number this is going to be. Switch number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we are going to add our fog lights to switch number 5 on our control panel. If we look at our control panel, here it goes, switch number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the switch that's going to turn on our fog lights. So let's go ahead and place a sticker on here. Auxbeam actually gave us a whole bunch of stickers to place on our switch panel, and if you look in the top right corner, there's one specifically for fog lights. So we are going to remove this sticker and place it on our switch panel. We're going to go ahead and grab some alcohol. We're going to wipe this clean with some alcohol. Let it dry. Grab my fog light sticker. I'm going to place it right here. So let's go ahead and try it out. Let's go ahead and turn on our engine. Let's go ahead and hit our fog lights. And voila, there you go. Fog lights just turned right on.